So yeah, I've already recorded this video, and I'm gonna record it again because I think I kind of, well, not that I didn't really like how it came out, but obviously yesterday, Caitlin Clark skipped post-game media. People are making it out like it's this big thing. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong on this, but I'm like 99% sure the only players that have to do post-game media are the top scorer, Raven Johnson, and the team can decide one key performer. Caitlin Clark did not have to do post-game media. She did pre-game media. She did not have to do post-game media. Why is this such a big thing that in a game where Caitlin Clark does not have to do post-game media, she didn't have to do post-game media? It's coming out there. Why? It came out because a journalist who was a Warriors journalist from San Fran, went out of his way to start posting that Caitlin Clark didn't make herself available. I tried to contact PR and they said she wasn't taking any questions. It was just one person like doubled and tripled down on like, oh yeah, Caitlin's not making herself available. And then you've got a whole bunch of the media being like, oh, so much of the media is there, unless they're trying to get quotes from Caitlin to try to get viewers because, you know, if you don't, like, if you're not getting, like, natural viewers, people aren't going to be, or natural, like, listeners or readers, you're not going to do well with sponsors, and it's your job to get the most readers possible, and, you know, if you don't want to just be rage bait, there's no views. And to an extent, yeah, like, that is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct, but anyone who made that response definitely backed the wrong horse, because I'm going to be real, like, I'm trying. I have another channel where we talk pretty much about every other team not named Caitlin Clark, and it's not doing badly. Like, it's not doing badly, and I know these views don't seem great, but, like, it's still, not that it's a full-time job money, but, like, it's still probably going to pay half of my salary in May. Like, since I've been monetized. It's doing okay. It's doing okay. But the person that was out there complaining about Caitlin, saying that, essentially implying that they had some sort of entitlement to Caitlin Clark. It wasn't. It was another dude that implied there was some sort of entitlement to Caitlin Clark. And the guy that said it just retweeted that dude at some stage, not about the entitled Caitlin Clark. But so all this discourse, only for the guy to put out a hit piece. This is a person that is covering Golden State sports. And instead of didn't get the quote they wanted. So instead of, hyping up the Valkyries crowd, like, the title is talking about how basically Caitlin isn't an all-time great yet and the crowd's got to her. And it's like, well, yeah, Caitlin had a bad game. The crowd might have got to her. The physicality got to her. Yeah, bad game. But, like, it was an article that is 2/3 basically saying Caitlin Clark sucks, and one snippet at the end being like, credit to the Valkyries for, playing a great game, and credit to their fans. Like, this is the most basic paraphrasing of it. If you want to look at the article, I'm not even giving the guy attention, because I did not know who he was until he went out of his way to make this a bigger deal. Than it is. If Caitlin Clark was the top scorer and she pulled in Alyssa Thomas and just didn't want to speak after she was contractually obliged to speak and took the fine, then okay. Caitlin Clark was not under any obligation to speak. Caitlin Clark does not owe a single member of the media any of her time. She does not owe anyone any of her time. Why? Because how many of the media, especially, and then this guy obviously pissed off, decided to write a hit piece. But she doesn't owe anyone any of her time. Why does she not owe anyone any of her time? Because let's be real, whether you are a print journalist, whether you are a video journalist, whether you are a content creator, whether you are a podcaster, whether you are a video essay person, whether you are a faceless channel person, whether you are a AI slop content creator that tweets about Caitlin Clark or that makes videos about Caitlin Clark going to Europe, There have been hundreds, if not thousands of people who have made a lot of money off Caitlin Clark. Whether that be from ticket sales, people in the Indiana Fever organization, whether that be people like kind of hanging on to Caitlin Clark, like not hanging on, like people around Caitlin Clark getting more relevancy because of that and making more money because of that. Like, I'm gonna be real here. Like, Caitlin owes none of us any of her time. If she's contractually obliged to do something, she's contractually obliged to do it. She can decide not to do it and take a fine, just like any of us. Like, I'm going to be real. If anyone who's employed, if you're self-employed, you can choose not to work for a day or two. But if you choose not to work for a day or two, there's going to be consequences. Your company or whatever it is not going to make as much money. If you're employed by somebody, you can decide to not do something that you're asked to do, and there are repercussions. It's a choice everyone makes. But on a human level, Caitlin doesn't owe any of us anything. Like, look, I'm somebody that, and I mean this, like, I don't know what the intentions of the guy was with asking questions. But, like, if I'm Caitlin, I'm always on edge. Especially if you're pissed off after a game, you've just been elbowed in the face, and you've had your worst game of the season. Like you're already going to be on edge. You don't want to speak unless you have to. And at least in an environment where in a post-game press conference, like you can kind of be, it's an away post-game press conference, so you can't even really be selective. If you're home, you can be a bit selective on who asks the questions. And look, it's one of those things where the like it's actually kind of getting ridiculous now. And that's the thing where it's like, anyone who came in post 2024 are seen as the bad guys. And if you are anything other than Caitlin Clark's the devil, you're seen as the bad guys. But just like, again, on a human level, Caitlin's not treated like a human by a lot of people involved around in the media. And look, it's one thing to go and write a hit piece. Like, it is what it is. You can write a hit piece if you want. But if you are out here writing a hit piece on a player, you can't expect said player to want to speak to you. And like, again, people out there like willing to write hit pieces like they're nothing. Like, no wonder Caitlin, unless she's contractually obliged, doesn't want to speak to the media. Why would she? Genuinely, why would she? And I will never ever forget there's a UK media outlet that I can't stand. I can't stand anyone I've ever met that works for this outlet. And they're like, amongst fans and stuff, it's a radio station, but it's the most hated radio station in UK sports. I was at an event years ago, it was summer of 2018, and Buggy Cousins was there. And we, as a group, the UK group for 2K, were allowed, I don't know how we got like access to Buggy Cousins. This is right after he signed for the Warriors. And everyone's calling him a snake, everything. He literally, like, he started it off by saying, just can you not ask about the Warriors? And I genuinely was with somebody in the media. The first question they did was ask about the Warriors. And they said, why? It's like, well, that's the only thing anyone wants to hear about. And this is a guy where I'm like, okay, this is just bad intentions in general. And like, I don't necessarily trust the media. I don't trust traditional media in a lot of situations in these scenarios around players like this. I just don't, because they're looking for clicks. And look, for me personally, would it be beneficial if Caitlin made herself available to the media and if she got asked something and slipped up and went viral? Yeah, it would be. But on a human level, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. And I have no idea what the intentions of people would have been with a Caitlin Clark. But like, I'm sorry, if someone's trying to slip her up, she's a lot more likely to slip up at the end. And yeah, it's a disappointing situation all around. That is like the only reason this is going semi-viral, because Caitlin Clark has plenty of times not spoken after games to the media. when she hasn't been contractually obliged. She hasn't been in every one of those post-game press conferences. But this is the first time somebody made it a huge deal. And let's be real, she's someone who normally has no issue speaking to the media, and nobody speaks to the media as much as Caitlin. She spoke to the media before the game. Why is it? Like, people are just going to try to find out, and you could tell she's getting a little bit pissed off with it. And the problem is that, I don't know, at some stage, is it getting harder to block out the outside noise? The outside noise isn't going to stop, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. But it's like, it could actually be, I think we could be getting very close to the stage where the Indiana Fever, like, go and allow an Angel Reese situation happen, being like, look, we'll eat the fines. Don't speak to the media. Don't worry about it. We'll eat the fines. And I wouldn't, like, even though that would, whether you're a journalist or content creator or anyone, that would absolutely affect all of our bottom lines. Like, it might be for the best for her as a person. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys.